whoever your favorite quarterback is, whoever is watching this video, your favorite quarterback's overrated. Whether it's Ben Roethlisberger, whether it's Baker Mayfield, whether it's Lamar Jackson, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, your favorite quarterback, I don't care who it is, what team he plays for, he's overrated. Why am I saying this? Well, we'll talk about that. But before I get into that, I want to make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload. Also, want to give a shout out to the patreon.com dog check tier members. I'm going to start with Michael Matique, Nick Merrick, Mike Lapa, Wesson Megan, Tyler Chiz, D.A. Jade, Easley Bash, Joe Hart, Gabriel Wilson, Fred Pratt III, David Valtiar, Relentless Buck, Chunt, Rex Kaufman, Kevin Johnson, DJ Marino V, Edward Carpenter, Matt H, Signed Sheets, Gemini, Liam Freeman, Fight Dirty 74, Yo, Matt Lloyd, Paul Wilcox, Hundo Magnifico, Kyle Stuffer, Lukey from Munich, Deveroff, J Guy 101, Musty Taco, Joe Bobby, Brad Cabo, Dylan W, James McGinley, Arenda Hall, Chad Gimme, David Maldonado, Dylan Hell, Josh Bendorch, Jaleel Salim Jr., Mark M, TJ Showman, Stuart Moore, Cleveland BCI, Robert Jermaine Jr., Dave Mike May, Andrew Hirsch, Curtis Byer, Batman, Bharat Kumar, John Albert, Beerman069, Masayua Buzzer, Roland James, Nemo, Mac House, Reeve Hertz, Philip Wilcox, Marie Vivert, Sean Barron, Goggles Bizano, Corporal Nick Lopez, Dom Gazzulo, Nick Nasty, Ian Whitaker, Colin 216 Christian, Dave Strong, Michael Stone, Billy Moose Gentry, Austin Z, Mark Burnett II, Andre Griffin, Otis Wolf, Dog Pound, Kai Greg Ehlers, Austin Bolin, Lydia Mahawk, Jesus Serrano, Chris Foams, the Picktown Browns backers, Max Neelakenko, Mark Khan, Max Al Dojo, and Water Bear Marketing. Again, guys, thank you for the support on Patreon. It means a ton when it comes to this channel and its ability to grow. Again, guys, thank you so much. Now, let's talk about why your favorite quarterback is most definitely overrated. You know, the overrated quarterback conversation is one of those conversations that you can have at any time about anybody, about anything, and it's going to stir up some emotions on either side of it. But then this clip was sent to me of a TPS video. TPS, they make like these, what I feel like are kind of just automated videos. It's just like a video factory place that just puts out top 10s. They're like the Watch Mojo of NFL YouTube, I would say. Like, they're kind of that level of content if you're interested. But they put out this video on the 10 most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. And I know a lot of you guys think the stuff that you see on ESPN is really the bottom of the barrel. And at times, it can feel that way, and it's easy to feel that way. But sometimes you see things that aren't produced by ESPN that really do make you think, is that really the bottom of the barrel? Because it gets a lot worse. But they did this video, top 10 most overrated quarterbacks, and obviously they put Baker Mayfield in it, which is what brought it to my attention. And look, whether you think Baker Mayfield's overrated or not, that's not the important part, nor the reasoning of me putting this clip in here. I want you to listen to the reasons for them saying that Baker Mayfield is overrated, because I think that is a lot more of an interesting conversation than to endlessly argue about whether this quarterback or that quarterback is overrated.
Storm, breaking the rookie record for touchdown passes with 27, although that mark was broken 2 years later by Justin Herbert. But Mayfield flopped big time in his sophomore year, so GM Andrew Berry went to work during the 2020 offseason. He repaired the O-line by signing Jack Conklin and drafting Jedrick Wills Jr. Then he hired new head coach Kevin Stefanski, who's known for his ability to construct an elite rushing attack. Stefanski decided to use Baker more as a game manager, running the offense through the backfield duo of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb instead. The results were brilliant. Mayfield cut down on his turnovers and had 26 touchdowns against 8 picks. Cleveland won 11 games and ended an 18-year playoff drought. But with all due respect to Mayfield, there is an element of overratedness here. He's a huge media darling, being a first overall pick and all. But has his play really been that great? His accuracy and playmaking abilities are questionable at times, and he's not much of a threat to win a game with his arm. It's no secret that the key to the Browns' success in 2020 was their ability to dominate the ground game. For proof of this, look no further than the fact that Baker finished 18th in the league in passing yards, despite playing in all 16 games. And he only reached the 300-yard mark twice all season, which is pretty crazy when you consider the team had 11 wins. When your team is winning, it's the quarterback who gets the most love. But the fact of the matter is, Stefanski's run-first system probably would have had similar success with at least a dozen other NFL quarterbacks.
Now, obviously, impulsively, there are a ton of things in there that are just kind of either an incorrect or an outdated way of looking at things, like cumulative yards, or, oh, he didn't get past the 300-yard marker, that I have talked about forever on why that's such an archaic way of looking at things. Look, the arguments are bad. It's a TPS video. So the nitty gritty on whether you think Baker Mayfield's overrated or not, I'm not here to get into. But what I do want to bring to your attention is, if you watch this entire video, if you watch that entire segment, tell me, what is the metric that any quarterback is being called overrated or underrated? Because this is the most important part. How do we decide if a quarterback is overrated if we don't have a reference point to measure the overrated factor, right? Are we basing this off of stuff that some fans may have said? Like, one guy on Twitter might have said Baker's better than Patrick Mahomes, and now all of a sudden Baker is overrated based on that comparison? What if I say Patrick Mahomes might be the greatest quarterback of all time? Now Patrick Mahomes is overrated. Lamar Jackson, what if I say, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback of the last 30 years and nobody will ever be able to touch him again? Okay, now Lamar Jackson's overrated. When we don't have a reference point for what deems a quarterback overrated or underrated, we just end up saying everybody is overrated and underrated, which means the terms mean absolutely nothing. And that's what I get from this video. And honestly, this video is more of a symptom of how I see sports talked about just casually on social media. This is something that commonly happens when it comes to everything, but especially when it comes to sports, is that we'll take one thing that one person or maybe 5 people said and then say, this is what all Browns fans are saying. Oh my God, all Browns fans think Baker Mayfield's the next coming. All Browns fans think Baker Mayfield's going to win the MVP. All Browns fans think this and that. All Browns fans, all Raven fans think Lamar. This happens a ton where we base our perception of what another group of people have said based off the very extreme thing that maybe 5 people from that group have said. And if you really scroll through this video, right, you'll see guys like Sam Darnold's on this list. Derek Carr is on this list, which is surprising to me because, like, who is overrating them? Like, maybe like some of their fans are saying that Sam Darnold's going to come back and win MVP, or some Raiders fans are saying that Derek Carr is the best quarterback in the NFL or something goofy like that. But it's not a consensus opinion. And I guess my biggest problem when it comes to the overrated quarterback conversation is that I just feel like the basis for a lot of the arguments that go for calling a quarterback overrated just feel either inherently dishonest or just straight up lazy. Because think about what you're saying when you're saying somebody is overrated, right? You're saying that somebody is being told that they're going to be much better than what you think that they're capable of. But where is the bar for that, right? For what the player is expected to be capable of if everybody has different opinions. So if that's the case, maybe you think Dan Orlovsky is overrating Baker Mayfield. Maybe you think that, Jim Rome is overrating the Cleveland Browns. But what you can't say is that everybody is overrating Baker Mayfield, because if anybody agrees with you that Baker Mayfield's overrated, then all of a sudden he ain't as overrated as you were saying that he was overrated. You get what I'm saying here, right? When we say overrated in this ultra generalized way, oh, Browns fans are overrating Baker Mayfield. How did you come to that consensus? Did the Browns fans have a poll that they raked Baker Mayfield 1 through 10 and they gave him a 10 out of 10? Or did they have a poll unanimously where most Browns fans, not even all, just a plurality of Browns fans, voted to rank quarterbacks in the NFL, and most Browns fans ranked Baker Mayfield over Patrick Mahomes or somebody that you would assume would be better than him? Like, where is the baseline for the information that a fan base is overrating a quarterback? It's not consistent because it doesn't exist, because most of the time, and look, I'm guilty of this. I have done this my fair bit of times. I'm calling out myself here too. But most of the time you do that is because you need a scapegoat. You need somebody to dog at, right? Oh, Lamar Jackson's being overrated by Raven fans. Bengal fans are overrating Joe Burrow. Well, what are they rating him exactly, right? That has to be the question. Whenever you hear somebody's overrated, who's rating them? What are we talking about exactly? Like, what is the barometer? So throwing out overrated as this general term, I think is inherently lazy and dishonest. Unless you're going to put a name to who you think is overrating that player, then it means nothing. You can say Quincy is overrating Baker Mayfield and cite my videos where I say he's a top 10 quarterback. And maybe your opinion is that Baker Mayfield's not a top 10 quarterback. So you can say Quincy is overrating him. I don't think he's going to be as good as Quincy is saying that he's going to be. So Quincy is overrating Baker Mayfield. But I don't speak for all Browns fans. I'm just one of very many Browns fans. And most of the time people do this is because they find one particularly egregious or non-reality based opinion from one fan of a team somewhere, and they want to drag that opinion out there and attribute it to all of the fans to make their argument seem logical. There was a Colin Cowherd video that I went over a few months back where I pointed out this exact premise. You know, it was like an opinion that nobody's really saying. It was like something like Baker Mayfield's like the second or third best quarterback in the NFL. Nobody is really saying that about Baker Mayfield. But Colin Cowherd found one guy who said it. He said, see, Browns fans are crazy about Baker Mayfield. They think he's the third best quarterback in the NFL. Browns fans aren't. That dude, Browns fan 55221 smiley face, is overrating Baker Mayfield. That is what's happening there. But when you do something like that, and you take a ridiculous tweet that you found directed at you and you blow it out there with the quote retweet and you say, ha, look how ridiculous all Raven fans or all Browns fans are being, understand you're being dishonest. And that's what the whole overrated conversation is at the end of the day. It's just a very dishonest way of evaluating and having discourse about other teams' quarterbacks, because it's difficult to bring up numbers. It's difficult to bring up numbers with relevance, and it's difficult to explain why some numbers might be more relevant than others and how a player impacts the game and certain things that you see on tape. These conversations are very difficult to have. You know it's not very difficult to say, well, you're just overrating your quarterback. That's very easy to say because you don't really need proof. But if you do that long enough, including myself, you end up making videos like TPS did, where it's all about what people are saying. Oh, some people are saying this, without really citing any source of this overratedness, right? Because honestly, if you're saying somebody is overrated, there should be a ton of evidence that you should be able to get to show people saying that this player is overrated, because that is the exact definition of overrated, right? It's an oversaturation of the positive attributes of a player without balance to their negative attributes. So if you're saying there's an oversaturation of the player's positive attributes, you should be able to show me a good amount of examples of that behavior. But if you can't show me anything, if you can't cite it, then obviously the player's not overrated. But if we want to just be lazy and say any opinion any fan of any team has about their quarterback counts as something that can be counted towards the barometer of a player's overrated, then guess what? All 32 quarterbacks are overrated. So if that's how we're going to do it, every quarterback's overrated, and it means absolutely nothing to be overrated anymore. But that's just my thoughts on this whole topic. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and have a good night.